Hi guys, Peter here once again from Thailand Bound. Thanks for joining me. Guess who I've bumped into? It's Bangkok Pat, a legend. I was just checking out Soy Cowboy. I was there, it's afternoon, there's nothing much going on, but I was at a loose end and I thought, well, I'll check out a few places. One of the places I checked out was Soy Cowboy. I was walking down the Soy and there was Pat, because I believe you're doing one of your...
I certainly am,
one of your documentaries.
It was a shock actually to see you.
Well, it's perfect, because now I can interview you. I got hold of the legend, guys. If you don't know Pat, his channel is actually called Bangkok Pat. Nice simple name, easy to remember, but he does some excellent documentaries. They're all about different parts of Bangkok, and I watch them regularly, and if you watch my channel, my live streams, you know I'm always promoting Pat's videos because they are so good. What's in the pipeline for you, Pat? What's the next video you're going to do?
I've got a History of Soy Cowboy coming up.
Okay, hence why I met you there just now. Yeah,
that's the only reason why I'd hang around there.
Okay.
I've got a video where I'm covering Thailand in World War I, a very short video.
That'll be interesting.
And in fact, a lot of people don't even realise they were there.
Right.
And there's another video on Pat Pong coming up. It's going to get a bit, I wouldn't say sleazier, but I wanted to get a bit deeper because the first video...
Sleazier? You got it right the first time, Pat. You wanted it to be a bit more sleazier.
The first video I sort of kept away from, you know, that side of things, but you can't avoid it in Pat Pong. So I'm going to sort of get straight to it. Plus, when I interviewed that guy, Suki, the Thai guy... The guy who he was my tourist guy, my tour guide. Yeah. He told me about a whole load of different things that were a bit sleazy, we'll use that word, but very interesting.
Right.
So I thought, I'm not going to waste that footage. And there's a lot more things to cover as well.
Well, let's talk about you a little bit, because like I say, Pat's channel is very, very interesting. He does some great documentary style videos, and I know from what you were telling me earlier, you're going to be involved, you're going to be collaborating with lots of different people, which I'll talk about. But before I get into that, I recognise this Klong, this canal, this walk. You've done something down here before, haven't you?
Klong San Sep Canal. I was about to sort of launch into a lecture.
A big history lesson, yeah. We watched the video.
Dug by Ron with free.
Yeah.
No, it's one of the main commuter routes actually. There'll be boats going past that we'll edit out, of course.
Yeah. We'll do a pause and edit.
And it was famous for being. It used to be black and grey.
Right.
Now it's a dark green. So
I wouldn't
swim in it.
No, I wouldn't swim. I think one mouthful of that and all the gold would drop out your teeth. You know, your gold fillings. So. I think it's no secret. So let's talk a little bit about you. So you grew up in England, and your mother's Thai, and your father was English, or he is English. I'm not. He still is. He's still around. And you were living in Cornwall in England. You went to school in Cornwall, is that right?
I went to school in London. I was living in Cornwall recently. Okay. I grew up and went to school in London.
Whereabouts in London, just out of interest?
Finsbury Park.
Oh, okay, because I'm from Haringey in North London. I don't know if you know Haringey.
Yeah. I'm from Finsbury Park, near Arsenal football ground.
Right, okay, I got you.
Where I grew up. I could hear the crowds every weekend.
Shouting, Pat, we want another video. So so when did you decide, because you decided to move back over to Thailand, or to Thailand full time, what was your kind of motivation to leave England? I mean, I think I can guess what it is, but why don't you tell everybody what your motivation was?
2002, I had just gone through a bit of a bad sort of episode with the other half, and I wasn't feeling good. I wanted to get away. My original plan was actually to go all the way to New Zealand and work on fishing boats. Just get away as far as possible in a far-flung place. And I stopped off in Bangkok to catch up with a few friends, and in those days you only ever communicated with people via email, so I was going to meet all these people I've been emailing with for months, and I ended up sort of loving Bangkok. And the 6 weeks I spent in the summer of 2002 was probably I'd say one of the best summers I've had for decades. And then I made a lot of friends and realised there's a lot more opportunities if you actually explore Bangkok. I know Bangkok can often seem like a really big, unfriendly city and everything's confusing. But I think I grew up in London, so it was sort of a matter of see what's where. You're happier out here, basically. Yeah.
And what was the year that you actually moved out here? You made the plunge. You said, right, that's it. I'm moving to Thailand, because I know you're settled. You've got a long-term girlfriend. What year was it that you actually made that move?
End of 2002.
So quite a while ago.
Spent,
18 years, something like that. 18.
20 years now.
20 years. Yeah. So it's only 22. Yeah. Blimey.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And okay, so I know, without delving into your personal,
you can get as personal as you want.
Okay, well I won't get that personal, but I know for a long time you were doing online teaching and you were doing regular teaching. That was how you were sort of surviving out here. How did that work out for you?
I was teaching and I was DJing.
Oh, that's right. You did some DJing, didn't you? Yeah.
My first 8 years here, I was a DJ and I was a part-time teacher when I wasn't a DJ.
Right.
But more recently, I've been online teaching.
Right.
Because the only jobs that were available were in schools, basically.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All the hospitality colleges that I was working at before sort of shut down.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it's a lot of work. You know,
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
And it's not great pay either, is it?
It's not the greatest pay, and the ones that do pay, there's a lot of demand on you.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen photographs of you when you were DJing in the Novotel, CM Square. They had a nightclub down there. I forget the name, but was it called Rumours?
CM2.
CM2
like CM Square.
Right, and then they renovated it and they opened it as another nightclub. It had a different name. Do you remember that? Or
I left there 2008.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know this interview is about you, but I'm going to just let my viewers into a little secret. You might have read this on my website, thailand-bound.com. But I actually worked for a company called Juliana's. I was a DJ for a year or two in my very early days before I got into the hotel industry. So that's something Pat and I have got in common. But that's happy memories. But we get old. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, we were discussing beat mixing soul to soul tunes.
That's it. Soul to soul. Yeah.
In the 80s.
That's it. So, okay, so what made you decide to start your YouTube channel? I'll get right into the YouTube channel because that's what people want to know about. But what was the spark in your head that thought, I'll go out and make a YouTube channel? What spurred you on?
I had this idea to start urban tours first.
Which we'll get into as well, because I know you've started that.
Then this situation came about at the end of 2019.
The Mulvid.
Yeah, that thing.
And Iris.
And I thought, well, there's no one to take on any tours.
Right.
So I got a camera and I thought I'd do some videos of it without speaking, because there was a lot of walking videos.
Yeah, I remember that.
But then I looked at a lot of the walking videos, and not being funny, but after about 10 minutes, you realise I need stimulation. So I started talking. And then the channel started. I made the first video, and a couple of people shared it, and it got popular.
Yeah,
I won't tell you who shared it because you don't want to promote it.
Well, no, that's fine. That's fine. You can mention them. Okay.
So I started the channel. I made a video, and it got popular quite quick because it was shared by Stick Boy.
Okay, yeah. Stick Boy, yeah.
And it was also shared by an old friend of mine called Bangkok Phil and John.com. So all of a sudden, one day I came home and it had like 800 views, and that's a lot for a new video. And
it is for a new, yeah.
So I've got to make another one now, and then it just sort of
escalated. So when I first came across you, because as I've said many times before, anybody who watches me regular or watches my live streams, I'm always praising Bangkok Pat's videos because they're so well. I'm not just saying this because you're here. You can look at my old streams. I always come out with this sort of stuff. And Pat's videos are so well produced. They're so well put together. He does so much research. It almost puts somebody like me to shame, who just comes on and speaks about nothing. But when I first came across you on YouTube, I contacted you. I think you had under 2,000 subscribers, something like, I think it was 1,400, something like that. 1,400, 1,005. Another one of those noisy motorbikes.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. We'll carry on. You had about 1,400 subscribers, I believe, and I was really shocked. I really was. I'm not over-exaggerating with that, because I looked at a couple of your videos and I thought, well, this guy must have a hell of a lot of subscribers. I went to look and you had 1,400, and I was shocked, literally shocked, because they were such good videos. So, as you know, I mentioned you on my stream and I said, go and have a look at this guy, and I think you had a surge, didn't you, of new subscribers?
I did, yeah, there was a lot.
And then you started to do it a lot more seriously, and we've grown. And what are you standing on now? What's your subscriber count right now?
8,600.
Well, that's good. Congratulations. I think you'll go all the way with your channel. Why don't you tell us, because you were telling me early now, what happens, people contact Pat, because Pat knows areas so well and he puts these videos out, people watch them and think, wow, I want to go and have a look at that. So Pat's kind of expanded his empire, as it were, and he is expanding his empire, and he's not stopping the videos, but quite a few viewers contact him and say, look, I'd love you to take me on a tour of Bangkok. Why don't you tell us about that?
Urban tours, yeah, definitely. It's a sort of casual walk around places. Basically, a lot of the subscribers I've got that have contacted me have lived here in the past,
Like myself, yeah.
or they know places, or they have memories of a certain area in Bangkok where they maybe had a good time, or lived briefly, or knew someone from, and usually they will give me a little background story about which parts of Bangkok, and they will say, "Oh, I'd love to see what it's like now. You know, I'd love to walk around this part of Nana, or I'd love to see this part of Bangkok. I want to see the temples, but I don't want to go where the tourists go.
Exactly.
You know, or what's this area like at night, or whatever." And sort of we'll tailor something together. I mean, there hasn't been many trips we've done where I've sort of lost my way and thought, oh my God, I don't know where I am, or I don't know what to talk about here, because you know, I tend to do a bit of research before we meet and go.
And are people generally, when you finish the tour with them and say goodnight to them, are they generally happy with what you've shown them?
Great, yeah, it's been great.
Let's plug it a little bit, because you know, I know if you go on one of Pat's tours, you're going to enjoy it. Let's talk a little bit about pricing, because right now, obviously with the pandemic, not too much is going on. But Pat's told me you have done quite a few tours already, haven't you? Even through these conditions.
Yeah, I've done a few. Well, seeing as it's been active about a month, actually.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good.
I've had, I'll say, shitloads of tours.
Have you?
I think I've done 7.
Well, don't forget, guys, Thailand-bound tours starting from today, cheaper than Bangkok. I'm only joking. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your pricing? What do you like? Say, right, I'm a guy. I've just come to you. I said, Pat, I want to spend an evening with you, walking around the old city. How much is it going to cost me, and what will I get for my money?
Okay, so I looked at prices and other tours, and I was quite astounded actually at that,
really?
What some of them are charging.
Well, give us an example, because I don't know.
So if you met me and said you want to walk around the old city for the old city in the evening tour, that's about 4 hours.
Right. So just one person?
Just one person, that'd be 3,000 baht.
3,000 baht. That's reasonable for 4 hours for a personal tour, I think. So anyway, and what about if it was, say, me, my wife, and my 2 children?
That'd be 6,000 baht.
Yeah, well, that's reasonable for a family, you know, because Pat's very knowledgeable. He's not going to just take you to, I forget the name of it, the Grand Palace. He's not going to say, here's the Grand Palace, I'll meet you here in an hour. I mean, you would go around and give them dates and things that have happened, history and everything. Yeah,
we walked around Nana on Friday. A guy had been here years ago and had such a great time, and I showed him where Lek Nana's house still is. Actually, it's still there.
Even I don't know that. Where is it?
It's actually just not too far.
Oh, okay.
Sort of corner of Soi 1.
Booking one of your tours.
Yeah. Soi Zero.
Soi Zero, where the bars were. Yeah.
Under the flyover, the slum railway, the slum sort of place over the canal where there used to be the short time hotels. Soi 1.
Yeah, well, I actually did just a few weeks ago, I did a video called Boots on the Ground when I first arrived here, and one of the areas I featured was Soi Zero. That's the flyover at Soi 1, and they had all the bars underneath there. They knocked them all down. There was a policeman guarding that night I went there, and I asked him could I go in, and I had like 200 baht I was kind of patting myself down with, but he said no, I couldn't go in.
You should just walk in.
Yeah, well,
because that gate, they have it pulled across.
Yeah.
I thought that.
I actually had to wake him up as well to ask him. I should have just gone in.
If you go in there, there's actually guys playing football.
Is there really?
In there, and they were really nice to me when I went there. They let me shoot them everything. I thought it would be quite hostile, but you know, that's just one positive thing about.
Yeah, and another positive thing here is what I was talking to Simon the other day, and I said, you know, if you're in the UK and you wanted to film inside a car showroom, for instance, they wouldn't let you in, you know. But like, I was in Icom Siam, and they had a Porsche shop, and I just walked in and filmed these Porsches, and the guy stood there watching me, happy as Larry. And do you find that a lot easier to film because people help you or they give you advice here?
Some places I find that if you're unsure to film somewhere, don't ask the security man, because it will beg the answer, which is often no.
Just go and do it.
Places like the SkyTrain or the MRT, you're not allowed to use your tripod.
Are you not?
For safety reasons.
Okay. What you mean actually on the train?
You can't put your tripod down on the floor because for safety reasons, and then you need like a commercial license. The security man told me in the BTS. He says if it was me, I'd let you, but then it comes under commercial use, and you've got to pay.
Right. So let me put you on the spot here, because I've always wanted to know this. How good is your Thai? I mean, are you a pigeon? I mean, I heard you speaking Thai to the motorbike taxis. I heard you speaking Thai when you bought some water, and it sounded quite good to me. So are you fluent or 80%? I would
say I'm about 65%. The problem is my pronunciation, and I tend to lose confidence because I worked on radio and I've been a presenter. I've done like MCing jobs and stuff. On stage and that. It's in that environment. It's down to you say something and you need to be understood the first time, and everyone hears it.
Spontaneous, isn't it?
Yeah. People have got to understand you immediately, and I tend to sort of take that attitude into. If I speak Thai and someone doesn't understand me, I think, oh shit, I've done it wrong, and I don't want to say it again because I'm scared. So when I do my videos, So when I do my videos, I try and sort of stay away from out and out speaking Thai, and even when I have said place names and stuff, you do get some smart ass comments saying, you said Asok wrong, it's spelt like this. Oh God, they're probably worst comments I get. People. Other foreigners criticising my pronunciation.
It's funny you should say that, because the biggest criticism I get on my channel, other than people calling me a sex pat and a pervert and all the rest of it, which I'm not, the biggest criticism I get is when I say patia or pattaya, they send me a big long message, or you should say it like this, and they break it down with a hyphen in between, and listen to the the patia song, and and I'm thinking, where I'm talking about. Does it really matter? And you'll get the same now. I
get some of that, yeah. And one guy, he sent me a message, sent me a comment, and I deleted it. He said, he said the Falang world, Falang, sorry, I don't know which one to use, is divided into two groups of people. It's those who say Hua Hin and those who say Wa Hin.
I say both.
I say both. I'm thinking, what a wanker.
Yeah, what a naughty boy.
What a tosser.
Can't use words like that.
Sorry, yeah.
We'll edit that out.
Well, it was a wanker, isn't it?
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. So do you get, because your style of YouTube channel is totally different to mine, and people know I'm married, and I come across as maybe a monger because I kind of film all that sort of thing, but that's what people want to know about. That's why I film it. So I do get quite a lot of, I don't want to get into this, but I'd get trolled quite a bit. But what about you? Because you do like really straightforward videos. Do you get much criticism, or people saying you shouldn't do it this way, you should do it that way, or?
Hang about.
Oh, that's all right. We'll carry it on. There's a boat going by, guys. Yeah. We'll keep it going. We'll see if people can
stay strong. What is it they say? Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, keep the show on the road, as it were.
That'll actually look good in the background.
It will do. Yeah. So we'll keep it in.
What was the
question?
Oh, do I get criticism on my videos?
It, yeah.
When I did because the nature of my videos, the history, the urban areas, I find stories about local areas, and I dig out old photos that are obscure. Anyway, when I did the Nana video, I had a couple of comments saying, "Oh, you're branching out into doing haul videos." I said, "No, it's not quite like that.
That's part of Thailand, isn't it?"
Where there's history and a story, I'm in. It's like Pat Pong. When I did Pat Pong a couple of weeks ago, I had comments saying, "Oh, now you're covering exploitation of women," and I was like,
yeah, but I watched your video, and I didn't know this was your. I want to get into something else about like Falang ghettos. I don't want to forget. But what I was going to say to you is, I watched one of your videos about the green lanterns, the Chinese girly houses. To keep it clean. But and I didn't know any of that. And you did. There was an old cinema. What was that area?
Oh, in Bang Rak.
That's it.
Yeah.
And they had the green lantern. I consider for the West, it's always red lanterns, isn't it? Means
red lights. Yeah.
Red light district. But they had green. Go and watch that video if you haven't seen it. What's the name of the video?
Bang Rak.
Bang Rak, yeah, and it was a certain area, a Chinese area here in Bangkok, where they had was it a porn cinema, or?
They had, it's a maze of alleyways, neighbourhoods, and in the last century, 100 years ago, it was all full of drug dens, brothels with green lanterns, gambling houses, whorehouses, and in the middle of it they had the casino. And the casino lasted 5 years until they outlawed it because there's too many fights and drunk.
Yeah, sure.
And so, this area was like notorious for the time. It was a lot of Chinese immigrants came from Hong Kong around there, and it was all alleyways, you can get lost. And I did this video on it, and I didn't think it would get that much interest, to be honest.
I found it interesting.
The angle on the area, and then that casino became a movie theatre,
right.
Showing all the old silent movies, and it became a proper cinema with a cult following, independent cinema.
Okay.
And then in the mid-80s, for a while, it was a porno theatre.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How do you know that? I'm only joking.
It's research, I promise.
That's what another thing I was going to ask you. You know, when I watch your videos, they're not just you. Like, there are other guys who make good videos. I'm not going to name any of them because that wouldn't be fair. But there's guys who make videos, but they just walk along and they'll say, "Oh, look at these nice apartments. Look at that," and they're basically speaking about what's in front of them. But with yours, they're very well researched. And how much effort do you have to put in before you put a video out? Because I'll tell you something now. You know how long I lived here and how many times I've been here. But one of my apartments was on Soy 22, behind Washington Square, and you put that video out about Washington Square with the was it CIA had a bar there. You know, I lived next to it and I didn't know any of that. You know, so I mean, you opened my eyes up. It's all gone now. But how much research do you actually? Is it days or weeks, or is it all internet research? How do you go about it?
Probably why it takes me so long to do a video. I'll go and I'll start shooting, and then I'll get home after the first day's shooting, and I'll think, right, where have I been? What's here? And then I'll put a thing on Twitter saying, does anyone know what happened
so you
here?
put it out there for the okay.
And then you'll get stories coming back, and then with the CIA stuff, I did have a knowledge of because the CIA had an office apparently in the old Chok Chai building near the Emporium, and then their officers club was where the Villa supermarket is. So I knew there was a connection, and then it builds and builds, and before you know it, I'm up until 4 in the morning. Researching.
So how many videos are you putting out at the moment? Because I do watch your videos, but because I'm tied up with my YouTube channel, I'm not I am subscribed and I do get notifications, but sometimes I'll be halfway through editing this video, for instance, and I'll get a notification. I think I'll watch that later, and I might not watch it for another 3 days because I forget. So I don't know. They seem to be regular, but I don't know, are they weekly or bi-weekly?
I understand, Peter. I know some of them are not very interesting as well. So
I didn't say that.
Don't have to say
didn't say that.
Now I'm trying every 2-3 days. Before it was every 10 days.
Right.
When I was researching them heavily and I was still teaching and working, I could only afford to do it. Put them out once every 2 weeks sometimes.
Now you're full time on it, yeah.
Before I put out the Nana video, I spent 6 weeks doing that video.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it shows it's an excellent video, you know. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here next to you. I mean, I'm off. How many guys, if you watch my channel, you know how many times I've mentioned go and watch Bangkok Pat's videos. They're brilliant. They're almost like documentaries. So I don't want to forget anything. There's you were telling me about some collaborations you're doing with some other people. I know you did some bits and pieces with the Tiger, Tim and Jay, you did some bits with them. Jay's actually contacted me. He wanted to do some collaboration with me as well. I've got to get back to him on that. I think it's more about the animation videos and Nat and Dave, that sort of thing. But you were telling me about an author who's doing something big out here, which we won't name who that is. I know who he is, but I won't name him. But you're working with him now, and that could potentially be something massive, right?
He's a well-known crime fiction writer, and he created a character over a series of, I think, nearly 20 books. And that character, who's a private investigator based in Bangkok, is they're considering making a series, basically like a Netflix series.
Because he lives here, doesn't he? The
writer lives here, yeah. And basically, this is going to be a documentary about the writer, where he went, and lots of different stories put together. And in the documentary, it shows the character in different locations where he used to go. The reason why he contacted me to do this was because he wanted the kind of locations I go to in my videos, like obscure soils, deep in the middle of nowhere, sort of urban areas no one goes to. He saw all those kind of locations, and he said he wanted me to scout those out. Okay. So, it's something that might get put on Netflix. From what I've heard, they've even got an actor lined up. So hopefully this all goes.
Can we know who the actor might be? Or would that be giving away too much?
I might be giving away too much.
Okay. So am I going to be watching this interview in 5 years' time in London, saying to my friends, that guy on Netflix in Hollywood, he was a mate of mine. Are you going to get up there?
I don't know how they would use me. If that was a success, if it became big, it would be more of a, I suppose, a location consultant. I also got contacted by a cat charity. They saw my cat videos. Yeah,
I noticed in your videos there's always a few cats hanging about.
Usually after I get it wrong 10 or 20 takes, the cats start coming out because they hear a human somewhere and they think food. So all of a sudden these cats, so I thought, I'll get them on camera. Anyway, this guy watched my video about the cats, and he has got a charity or a foundation basically, and they feed and neuter and catch and vaccinate cats around here actually, and wanted me to do a series of videos to promote that sort of what they do.
Let people know what they're doing.
To hopefully get sponsors from America.
Sponsors,
It's in the cat video. So.
Well, there's similar things going on for the dogs, especially in Pattaya, not Pattaya. Yeah. How would you pronounce Pattaya?
Pattaya.
And how would a local person pronounce Pattaya? Pattaya.
So my Thai friend would say, I go to Pattaya.
Pattaya. Yeah, because like I say, people keep writing to me and saying, you're saying that wrong, but anyway, back to what we were talking about. We get going off subject there. There's, I know there's a few charities down there and elsewhere that they do the same sort of thing with the dogs, and they're wonderful people. These people who do this, because they're not on sort of big money. They're not out here living it up. They've got a genuine interest in animals, are loving animals. They see these dogs that are all flea bitten and laying around, and some of them are half starved, some of them need medication, and these people step in and they do a lot of good. I've got a lot of respect for these people who run these charities.
Well, if you remember 20 years ago, the soy dogs were on every street corner pretty much.
They used to be a nuisance, especially. I'm not going to go into my old stories, but you'd be on a motorbike and a pack of them would run after you, and
well, they cleared that up, and Bangkok, and now that has been replaced. Well, the cats have just become more visible as a result. I think.
But the cats do some good as well, don't they? Because in a city you have a lot of rats. Funny enough, I haven't seen one this trip, but last time I was here, they're everywhere. But the cats, I mean, the rats are quite big here, and the cats are quite small. So I don't know what the kill ratio is, but they must do some good.
I think it's quite good, because if you go eat a lot of street food stalls, usually you'll see a cat sitting under a table somewhere. Or there are a couple of cats. They always hang around. So.
Well, if you can imagine,
like you say, there's less rats. I haven't seen many rats.
No, you're sitting eating on a food court. People are spitting on the floor with the bones out and all the rest of it, as they do. And at night, it's a feast for rats, isn't it? So anyway, let's move on to the videos.
Cats and rats.
Cats and rats, not a particularly nice subject. So. What I was going to say to you, Pat, do you find a lot of foreigners who come out here, and I'm guilty of this as well, a lot of foreigners who come out here to live, they tend to live in kind of what I call Farang ghettos, Sukhumvit, certain parts of Pattaya, around Ceylon, and they don't tend to venture out like this, and you can, they don't want to learn any Thai. They live in they live in their comfort zone around Sukhumvit, where it's expensive, but a lot of the Thais speak English because they're used to dealing with foreigners. And I mentioned to you earlier, I'm intending to spend a lot more time out here, and I'm now going to do I speak quite a bit of Thai, but only lots of words. It's very difficult for me to string them together, and I can't read Thai. And we were talking earlier, and I said to you, I'm going to do a language course, I'm going to read Thai, and I've just learned so much this trip. And do you find with a lot of the foreigners you meet out here that they are in those kind of what I call foreign ghettos, they don't branch out? And what's your feeling on it?
I get quite jealous if I hear a foreigner or Farang speaking Thai really well, because I should. I was brought up by a Thai mother, but she did die when I was young, so there was no Thai spoken in the house after 11 years old. But I've been here so long, I should be completely fluent regardless. There's one thing being able to speak Thai, but my thing is that I don't get understood by some Thai people. So if I went down to the south of Thailand, no one would understand my Thai.
Yeah, but I think that's relevant to everywhere, because if I go up to Yorkshire and start speaking to some Yorkshire man with a flat cap, it's a bit stereotyped, so if you're from Yorkshire, don't get offended. But, I can find it hard to understand them, or some accents from deep in Scotland, so I think that's just, that's quite a normal thing, isn't it, accents. Is there a lot of regional accents here in Thailand?
Yeah, there is.
And
me and you, we probably wouldn't understand them.
Yeah, so can you recognise different, I'm smiling because we've edited this about 3 times because we couldn't get the words out, but we'll have another go. So do you, like Isan for instance, if you hear an E, because that's very different, for us it's like Yorkshire, for the Thais, people live in Bangkok, Isan will sound like a Yorkshireman would sound to us. Can you notice those kind of, if you hear someone speaking Thai from Isan, for instance, or close to the border with Laos, can you pick up on that, or is that not something you're not?
Not really.
Not really, no.
No, not really. I don't pick up on accents. It's quite difficult.
All right. So let's kind of round this off now. It's been quite interesting. I've enjoyed speaking to you today, Pat. I'm glad I bumped into you, by the way. Just before I forget, have you got a title for this video that's going to go up, the one about Soy Cowboy? Because I'm not the only guest in it.
No, there isn't. a
Go
guy.
on, plug it now. Plug it.
Yeah, there's the guy who actually worked for T.G. Edwards.
Yeah, that's
the cowboy himself.
Suki. He's
Suki.
Suki, the little guy. He's
Yeah.
a guide in the Pat Pong Museum now. He was my guide actually, but I know who you're talking about.
He gave me a lot of background info on Soy Cowboy
Mm-hmm.
and the man himself, and he used to be his translator and business associate when Cowboy started.
Right.
And there's a very famous crime fiction writer who was inspired, whose characters were inspired by trips to Cowboy and characters he met, and of course you, Peter.
Yeah, yeah.
So one legend, mate.
Oh, absolutely. So
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to call the video. Am I just going to go straight up and say Soy Cowboy on the cover, or do I call it something smart like Cowboys and Angels?
That's actually a very good title, Cowboys and Angels.
George Michael
Bangkok.
song,
You can only get so much on a thumbnail. That's the problem I
Yeah.
face. I come up with these great titles for thumbnails, and it goes way off page.
Yeah.
So just to sort of finish up with Pat, it's been great to talk to you. How can you see your? May I ask your age? How old are you?
45.
How can you see your long-term future here? Can you see YouTube being a long-term job? Let's call it a job. And with your tours and all your collaborations, can you see that kind of stretching out for years to come? Is it going to grow, or can you see it as a short-term thing and you have to go back to teaching? Or
No, I think, to be honest with you, something will turn up, as they always say, and it's building up to something. With the YouTube channel, I've been advised by other longer established channels saying, advice, try and be in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
A lot of channels come and go.
I've said that.
9 months.
I've said that. I mean, I did 18 months without making a penny on YouTube, and now I've been going over 2 years, and I'm not making big money. I'm making pocket money. I don't ask people for money when I do my live streams. Very generous people send me a few dollars here and there, and I'm grateful for it. But I'm certainly not going to get rich with a YouTube channel.
No.
Not the sort of numbers I've got. I know there are people out there who make a lot of money, but they've got big numbers, haven't they? And you bumped into one of them recently here. Well, a couple of them here in Bangkok, haven't you?
Yeah, I do. I'm friends with a guy called Global Travel Mate. He contacted me, and there's actually a few of us who have channels. We're part of a line chat group, and we meet up regularly.
Are the guys in Pattaya? Because I met a lot of them in Pattaya. Are they part of that group, or are they
No,
separate?
there's only like 7 of us who regularly communicate in the group, and we, if one of us needs footage of something or whatever,
So you help each other out.
Yeah,
you collaborate.
one of them, someone might come up and say, "I'm bored, I can't think of something" or whatever, and we talk to each other like that. And there's Global Travel Mate, there's Pete from Irish Times.
Yeah.
There's Franco. There's a couple of other guys. There's a roaming cook. We're all part of a group, and who communicate and just basically swap ideas and give each other encouragement.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that about ideas, because I was stuck in the UK for 2 years. I couldn't come out here, so I had to kind of fill a void, and I've been doing the stories every Saturday, and I kept thinking to myself, well, when I get out to Thailand, it's going to be great because I can just make so many videos. And I have put here's another boat, Pat. I can't lip read, but that woman looked like she was saying, look at that dumb pair of tourists.
There was a couple of kids, so they looked French or English or something. They looked a bit bemused.
Oh well, we were friendly, weren't we?
Yeah.
When I've had a channel for 2.5 years, and for two of those years I've been stuck in England, and I've always thought, when I get out to Bangkok it'll be great. I can make lots and lots of videos, and I've put out about 15 videos in 3 weeks. But I've now got to the point that if I lived here, I'm scratching my head thinking, what can I do now? Because it's all right saying I'm going to make a video, but they've got to be interesting, haven't they? I could say, well, I'm going to make a video walking along this towpath here, but are people going to watch it? It's a difficult one, isn't it?
It is very difficult. I've noticed, even in the short time I've had my channel, which is just over 18 months, you get waves of people who come and start channels, vlogging, walking around, and they come and go. They'll start their channels, they'll get a few views and maybe just give up. And then there's the ones who do well. And then again, it looks like, and this is nothing derogatory, it looks like they just run out of ideas. You can only do so many blogs of yourself walking along with a selfie saying, oh, look at this street food, look at that cool Starbucks and all that. Yeah. I mean, that's what I wanted to avoid when I started my channel. I thought no one's going to be interested.
Well, you found your niche, definitely, because your videos are so knowledgeable. So let me ask you, we'll wind this up soon. We've been going for a good 30 minutes. It's been interesting, but so look, we're still under a pandemic. It's going to start to ease up now because the whole world is treating it like what's going on at the moment. I don't want to say those words, but they're treating it like a common cold. So when Thailand finally opens up, gets back to normal or as near normal as can be, can you see an explosion of new YouTubers coming out here? Guys thinking, well, I'm going to get out to Bangkok and I'm going to live off YouTube.
Yeah.
Can you see that happening, and how successful
Probably.
do you think those guys
You'll
are
get
going
all
to
the
be?
existing YouTubers doing videos.
It's all been done, hasn't it?
Yeah, they'll all do, like, it's very predictable. That's why, like when Khao San Road at Songkran, everyone went there and said, oh, Khao San Road is quiet during Songkran, look how dead it is. And they're all the same bloody videos, the same. That's why when I went there, I was going to do that. And then I thought, no, there's enough of these bloody videos.
You can't bring nothing new to the table.
I'm going to do a complete history.
Yeah.
And I actually got the blessing of Joe Cummings. He saw the video and he loved it, and because I did a little bit on Lonely Planet and how it started. And but yeah, there will be an explosion of videos saying, "Oh, Thailand reopens."
Yeah.
No, it's just
And you enjoy it, Pat. I'm sure.
I love doing it. I love going out with a camera and doing
isn't it nice?
Yeah.
Isn't it nice when, you know, you've been doing it for a couple of years and somebody approaches you? Like I'm not used to being approached because I've never been in Thailand Bangkok for 2 years, and you know, I went out and had a wander my first night in Soi 4, my usual haunts, as you've just bumped into me in Soi Cowboy. You know, I'm not difficult to find. And I had 8 guys come up to me separately and say, "Hey, Peter, Thailand bound." And no, but they were really cool guys, you know, really friendly. And the same in Pattaya, I had the same thing down there. People come up to me and recognise me. But that started to happen to you as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, especially in the last 6 months. When people come up and talk to me, it's always in my mind. I sort of come across as a nice guy, be a nice bloke.
Anyway, look, I know you're a busy man, Pat. You've got videos to make, people to see, and it's been great speaking to you. I hope you guys, if you've got any questions for Pat, he will reply to you if you want to. Have you got an email address or just comments?
Yeah, I do have email address. Yeah.
What, can I ask you here what it is, or?
Will they get a pen and paper?
Maybe get a pen and paper. Go on, I'll put it on the screen anyway.
Put it on the screen, yeah. It's DJPAT 2000.
Okay. You know what's going to happen when I get back to the UK? So what was your email address again? I can't remember.
It's in the description of it's in my profile. It's in the description of any of my videos.
All right, I'll probably leave that bit out,
As is my buy me a coffee link.
Okay, right, guys, to wrap this up, like I said to you at the beginning of the video, the channel is called Bangkok Pat. This is Bangkok Pat right here. He does some great videos. I'm a subscriber. I watch all of his videos, and I'm not just saying that because Pat's sitting next to me. I do. They're great videos. Although I spent a long time in Thailand, I learned from his videos. He's a lot more knowledgeable than I am. So, Pat, I wish you all the best of luck, mate. It's been good to meet you. It's been a good chat.
Cheers, Peter.
And please watch a few of his videos.